The daughter of an ultra-nationalist Russian ideologue has been killed in a suspected car bomb attack outside Moscow, say Russian state investigators. Darya Dugina, who was killed on Saturday evening, was the daughter of prominent ideologue Alexander Dugin, who advocates Russia absorbing Ukraine and has been placed on a US sanctions list. Described by investigators as a journalist and political expert, Dugina publicly backed her father's position and expressed support for Russia's intervention in Ukraine on state TV. The Russian Foreign Ministry speculated that Ukraine might have been behind the attack, though Ukraine denied any involvement. Russia's state news agency quoted an acquaintance of Dugina as saying the vehicle belonged to her father, who was probably the intended target. Father and daughter attended a festival outside Moscow, and Dugin decided to switch cars at the last minute, a Russian state newspaper reported. Some Russia watchers say Dugin holds significant sway over Russian President Vladimir Putin, but others dispute that.
A federal appeals court on Sunday put on hold a scheduled testimony by U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham before a grand jury in Georgia. It's probing efforts by Donald Trump to overturn the former president's 2020 election defeat. Graham's testimony was originally scheduled for Tuesday. Now, the case will return to a lower court for another look. Last week, a federal judge rejected Graham's challenge to the subpoena to testify before the grand jury. Graham, a Republican, had argued his position as a U.S. Senator provided him immunity from having to appear before the investigative panel. The appeals court gave Graham a new chance to challenge the subpoena, based on protections for lawmakers under the Constitution's speech or debate clause. That provision can protect lawmakers from being compelled to discuss legislative activity.
Raise that right hand.
The grand jury wants to question Graham about at least 2 phone calls he made to Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and his staff in the weeks following the November 2020 presidential election, in which Graham explored the possibility of re-examining absentee ballots, according to prosecutors. Trump has falsely claimed that rampant voter fraud caused his loss in Georgia, a battleground state where President Joe Biden's victory helped propel him to the White House. The special grand jury in Fulton County, Georgia, is undertaking a criminal investigation into alleged wrongdoing. Trump was recorded in a January 2, 2021 phone call, pressuring Raffensperger to find enough votes to overturn his loss to Biden in the state. He has denied any wrongdoing.
I'm not going to comment on the grand jury investigation.
The grand jury has also subpoenaed members of Trump's former legal team. Rudy Giuliani, Trump's one-time personal lawyer, testified in Atlanta on Wednesday.
Somali forces have ended a deadly siege at a hotel in the capital Mogadishu and freed more than 100 hostages, authorities said on Sunday. 21 people were confirmed dead and 117 injured. Minister for Health Ali Haji told Somali state TV, adding the real toll could be higher. Elite armed forces battled al-Qaeda-linked militants for 30 hours after the jihadists blasted and shot their way into the Hayat Hotel on Friday evening. The al-Shabaab group, which has been fighting to topple the Somali government for more than a decade, claimed responsibility for the attack. Friday's attack at the Hayat, a hotel popular with lawmakers and other government officials, was the first major incident since President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed took office in May. The attackers shot and killed civilians who tried to flee towards the blown-up gate, a police captain told Reuters. He said they killed 10 security personnel with firearms and grenades. A survivor told Reuters a group of people fled to an upper floor, where they were killed by the militants, who first blew up the stairs to bar their escape. Security forces managed to free some guests who locked themselves in their rooms in the upper floors, he said. A senior police commander said 106 people were freed, including women and children.
It's a day of cleanup for Bakhmut residents in the Donetsk region. Shelling started early Sunday morning, according to 72-year-old Valentina, hitting her roof and damaging her apartment. Still, what's even scarier, she says, is silence.
It's scary. We thought we already got used to everything. You know, when they don't shell us, we're even more scared. Because when they shell us, we think, okay, they're shelling us. But when they don't shoot, it's like the calm before the storm. And we wait for something to happen any moment. That's how we're living now.
Bakhmut is west of Luhansk, which Russia said it fully captured last month amid what it calls a special military operation. Ukraine's military said Russian forces carried out offensive operations towards Bakhmut over the weekend. It comes as the 6-month milestone is approaching in a war that has flattened towns and cities, killed thousands, and forced millions to flee. Ukrainian officials also reported Russian strikes on targets in the east and south of the country, including across the river from Europe's biggest nuclear plant, Zaporizhia, which has been held by Russian forces since March, and overnight missile attacks in the Odesa region, home to Black Sea ports critical to a UN-brokered plan to help with agricultural exports. Reuters was not able to independently verify the battlefield reports. Back in Bakhmut, field Dr. Vadim said he believes Russia has the advantage.
The situation at the moment is stable and difficult at the same time. Our boys hold up well. However, we feel and see that the other side maintains an advantage in artillery systems. That's why we have unfortunate losses. They're unfortunate because we could avoid them if we could give an adequate response.
Wednesday also marks the anniversary of Ukraine's independence from Soviet rule. President Volodymyr Zelensky has called for vigilance ahead of the day, saying Moscow could try something particularly ugly.